Hey everyone, I'm Dana, the creator and founder of Under the Sea with Milan. Tonight's episode will be circled around my active spiritual journey. So let's get deep and dive into what it really means to be awakened. Are you ready for your awakening? Yes. So today I have my friends with me, and I felt like they would be perfect for this this conversation circled around consciousness and awareness, because I felt like they are very intellectual beings. I feel like they have they can bring a lot of substance to the table and really get you guys thinking and just questioning everything. Because what I want from you guys to get out of this podcast most is just the fact that you can make your decision at the end of the day. So does anyone know what consciousness is?
I feel like consciousness is just a place of being, and you reach that place of being once you get to a particular point. I know for me, me and my close friends in middle school, which was like you guys, like we were all like weird because weird quote unquote, because we would have these conversations that regular like 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds wouldn't have. And it's like, I just feel like from that point on, like, stuff clicked in my head that there was stuff greater than me. Mm-hmm. And, like, I had purpose greater than me. And, like, the mindset that I've been taught to have is greater than me.
Right.
Yeah.
So, do you guys know the levels of consciousness?
Not by heart.
I know it's consciousness, subconsciousness, unconscious, and subconscious.
Well, there's also, like, if we're going into it like that, like scientifically, you have your theta state, you have your alpha state, beta state, delta state, and different, each of these states, like, represent, like, different parts. So, like, let's say theta state is, like, your dream state. I'm not sure how accurate this one is for this specific, but you guys get what I'm trying to say, I'm pretty sure.
So, like, with the levels thing, I know in communications majors, we learned this term of, like, the bewildered herd, which is, like, where everybody is a part of and just blindly follow.
Yep. Okay, so then that leads me on to my first the first level. So, and don't mind me, guys, I have my notes down here just because I jotted everything down. That way I can deliver the message that I want to give to you guys. But yeah, exactly. So level 1 is your autopilot level. It's the lowest level, and it's just your consciousness that's described as the helpless feeling that things are happening to you and that everything is out of your control. So at this level, we're always blaming people and things outside of ourselves, which causes us to find ourselves in positions where we wouldn't otherwise be in. So this could look like blindly following after other people, idols, traditions, religions, etc. Not knowing why, just doing it. Not questioning why, just doing it. It's just one of those things that's just like, it just is what it is.
Yes.
And then you have your level 2 person. Now, mind you, in each level, in order to elevate in a level, you have to go within yourself to find, that peace in order to go to the next level. So level 2 is the most common state. Majority of people thrive on this level and they operate on this level. So level 2 is life is happening by me. I'm controlling as many things as I can. If I don't do this, this will not happen for me type person. And the problem with this is that this type of person is not allowing things to happen. It's not allowing things to flow. This person experiences life in stress, fear, and resistance, and is not creating room for anything. So there are people that are caught up living like robots because they're holding on too tightly to ideas created in their own minds. Or so for level 2, this would be ideas created in their own lives. But then for level 1, it would be ideas that they took from other people that weren't once theirs, if that makes sense. So then back to level 2, these people force shit and they don't trust the process. So for example, for me, like I stress so much about these like podcasts and just doing like modeling gigs and all of that stuff. And it's like I put so much thought into the outcome that I forget to enjoy it on the way. And then it just makes it like, I overwork myself up, then I'm not eating that day. And it's like it's fun. I'm enjoying what I'm doing, but it's like I'm not really, because I haven't really given myself that time to to
be present in it.
Present, exactly. Yep. So then next we have the level 3 type individual, which is the bigger person. Like Maya was saying, she said the no I, the no you, but we type of like vibe, like type of individual. This person takes life head on, and they're knowing that there's a higher purpose. They understand that they're a part of a bigger picture. They don't know when, why, but then they trust the process and they surrender. Whatever I will need will be provided type individual. No resistance. Things become easy, and there's a sense of oneness and flow. And then for your last one, your 4th level, which is now this level is kind of tricky because I feel like, and I can honestly say that I've experienced level 4, but it is experience only. Like, it's like a spiritual, like, thing that it's like, you know? Like, for example, like, when I meditated, I believe, so my older brother passed away March. Yep, exactly. So my older brother, he passed away March 17th of 2012, right? And he was 19, and it was a week before his 20th birthday. And so for me, last year, this is where my awakening began, and I really like went deeper into myself and me understanding my own like reason for being here. Because after that point, right, and now mind you, I had a regular day at school. My day was good, everything was perfectly fine. Then boom, right? So I'm driving. Bro, out of nowhere, I start crying. What the fuck am I crying for? I don't know. So I'm like, all right, I know I gotta go home. I know there's something wrong. I gotta meditate or something. You know, I gotta figure it out. Like, what is it? And I knew that I was involving my brother, but I didn't understand how deep it was. So when I went home and I meditated, bro, it literally like, and I was in meditation for like 2 hours, bro. But you know, when you're in the zone, you don't feel time. Yeah. So it's like, bro, I was meditating and I literally felt his presence, bro. Like, and that's why I'm saying this is why this conversation is so important for me to have, because once you look at consciousness differently, then you will understand grief and you will understand why the different phases of life happen the way that they do. And then maybe, you know, this could lead one person to having hope, or, you know, finding their way instead of like just going by tradition and just seeing, you know, just blindly falling and just becoming victim to their environment.
Yeah. So
with that being said, anyways, I rambled on, but level 4 is the expansion of your soul. Experience only. It's undescribable. You have to go through it through yourself. So it says you have to change your frequency within yourself, be the judge of all your thoughts that you allow into your mind, and you have to go from a lack mentality to a grateful one. You have to, and in order to do this, right, because it's always process, you know, you have to build it brick by brick. It's not just going to happen overnight, but in order to do this, you can start by minding your self-talk, like working out, like all of these things can elevate your mindset.
Yeah.
All of it. So, like, with that being said, I was going to say, fuck, I forgot my question. Do you guys, okay, that was my question. So do you guys like believe in what you believe in because of, and I mean like religion based, right? Do you believe in what you believe in because of religion, because family tradition, or do you believe it because of experience?
Well,
anybody could jump in. You could just talk.
Well, I know me and my cousins and my sisters, we always say like we were raised Catholic. Mm-hmm. Like that's how we were. But once we were old enough to start understanding our culture and like start to understand like these family gatherings that we would have with our aunt, who would like at first we'd be like, oh my gosh, she's doing all these crazy things, like she's hitting people with flowers and, you know, and making people go. And then like when you look into like Puerto Rican culture, there's this thing called it starts from Africa. It's Yoruba, and then it translated in Puerto Rico as Santeria. And it's like,
what is it? A plant?
No, it's like, so the Yoruba people were like a tribe in Africa, and some of their teachings and spiritualities like in Puerto Rico got translated during the diaspora of Santeria. And like I believe in that because I physically have felt that. I've been cleansed. I've prayed to my orishas who resonate with me, and I feel that in my soul, and I feel that of spirituality from it. I don't know if I'm as a
God, like that
not even
old
that, but
idea,
like an organized religion.
Right.
I like doing that on my own.
Yes,
I feel
same.
like I am prayer. I am God.
How about the idea that God and the devil is within you?
I feel like that could be true.
I agree. I feel like they're two sides of I don't know if I'd say the same coin, but I do think they definitely represent
The good and the bad.
Two aspects of the same being, in my opinion. Like there's no good without bad. That's what you're gonna reference to. Like that's my whole concept of it, and I genuinely do believe.
Then the bad brings on lessons.
Yeah,
I feel like
it's like Lord of the Flies. Yeah, like everyone has good and bad within them. Right? Yeah, it's just a matter of like if you give life to that, right? Because you could play on your bad and you could play on your good. Like that doesn't. I feel like it's a simultaneous thing.
Yeah.
That also reminds me of like what J. Cole said when he was like, "Heaven is a mind state." Like I really do. I
vibe with that.
I feel like we're all energy
for sure, for a fact. And that's why it makes me like. I understand grief, but then at the same time, it's like I understand grief from a human perspective, but then I also understand it as from a divine perspective because it's like it was this quote and it was like or it was just like the idea or whatever, and it was like, all right, like let's say you see this person and the shadow, right? And it's like the person is actually there and the shadow is just a representation of the person. Now, are you saying that when the person dies or whatever, that shadow does not exist anymore? Or does that shadow still thrive on? I feel like it still thrives on. I feel like the shadow is the shadow aspect of ourselves that show up.
Right. I mean, we are physical, we're spiritual beings, but we're just
having a human experience.
But I think, like, as humans, we have to conceptualize it as something tangible so that way we
understand it. We can wrap our human minds around it.
Personally, I feel like there's something greater than here, and that's my belief. But I also feel like as humans, we've created this thing that's tangible, that's easy to live with.
3D.
Because it's able to think like, okay.
Things without fear, like your hand on the stove, like your mom can tell you that much. She gonna tell you once, don't put your hand on that stove, but
you still gonna want to see it.
I'm gonna put my hand on the stove. I know what's going on. So I do think that sometimes like curiosity killed the cat, but I do think that like I think it's too complex of a situation to place one fault on it. Like, if that makes sense. Like, I can't just trace that back to one thing.
Exactly. Like, and I asked this question because I just want to know, like, is there any right way to go about that situation, handling that situation? Let's say none of us are parents, but
we also sexualize our kids, though, right? Because I think that's like the big problem.
The sexualization. What do you mean?
Because it's like even now, like people are like, oh, like that 5-year-old's wearing shorts. First of all, why are you looking at a 5-year-old like that? To like even say that they're like, you know what I mean? Like we were, at least for me. My father used to tell me to put on sweatpants if I was wearing shorts when his friends were coming over. And now, being an adult, looking back on that, I'm like, you shouldn't have worried about me. You should have worried about your friends. It's like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I think we put that much pressure on kids to look into everything that they do. The same way that, like, 2 little boys who are just being friends are hugging and kissing all over each other.
And people say,
stop that. Not even that. Well, that's the connotation behind it. But parents are like, oh, no, stop that. And then you start learning, like, oh, well, me doing that to Jason, that's bad.
That's wrong. Right. And that's crazy that you said that, right? Because now that gets me into my question. It's like, all right, now I was asking, how do you handle that situation? Because I'm not even going to say too much. I'm not going to say, but I just feel like when parents, right, especially parents who are single parents, I feel like they should. See, it's hard to say because I'm not a parent. Like, I don't want to be that person. But at the same time, I feel like you should develop some type of trust within your child. Like, like don't go straight in and whoop that child's ass. And let them understand why, first of all, don't just like flip out and flip your whole shit. Because now when this child, right, gets into college or this child gets into, it gets into the real world and shit, something bad happens to this child, they're going to feel like they're not going to have anybody to run to.
But why do we do that? Is my question.
I think
at the childhood stage.
I think a lot of it is
culture.
So much of like parents
culture, and your parents don't heal.
Yeah, like parents are associated with the teacher role in the sense of like they're the ones that are just giving all the outputs. But I think that, well, in my experience, like with my mom, like I got so lucky. Like my mom is like a very reciprocal type of parent where it's like not only is she teaching me things, but she's learning herself as well. And I think that was like really like a beautiful thing that helped me a lot, like throughout my life, and I think it really helped me to get to where I am today. And that's definitely something that I want to be proactive in instilling with my children as well.
Same.
My future children.
I experienced it like up till 13. My dad and my mom were both in my life, and then 13 on, just my mom. And it was weird to experience that shift during a very pivotal time in my life, right? Because it's like I was in high school, boys now, like didn't have my dad there, and it was like to have my mom take on both roles. When people don't give like single parents enough slack, like my mom literally had to take on both roles of instilling both like things within me. And it was like Jason was saying, like to have my mom who could have just said, no, I'm not doing this position of raising 3 daughters by myself, be so reciprocal in the fact of I'm healing and you guys are healing in the process. Let's go to therapy. Let's talk about it together. And to have my mom be able to be like, yeah,
I feel like that's not even common, like in real life, or maybe just where I come from. I just feel like therapy is just like, that shit's just not even an option. Like people just deal with their shit and they just pass their shit on to their kids, and their kids get all fucked up. Now you got a whole city full of fucked up individuals that just
I feel like talking out for me isn't really like, I don't like talking about my feelings or about what I've been through.
Right.
But I want to be able to have somebody who's there for me, who understands where I come from. So if I do a wrong, you'll be like, all right, okay, you're gonna move on for this. You're always gonna keep going. Like this is just a point in your life where you're just like, and
the people that you have around you.
Yeah, like I just want to have somebody who's there for me, like just to be that support when I do fuck up.
Are you talking about relationship wise or in general? Any relationship?
Like even a parent, like feel me? I feel like if I know I ain't got no money in my wallet, I'm broke, I can't make ends meet right now, I could go to my mother or father, ask for a little bit of this. Yeah.
Facts.
Feel me?
Facts.
So when I do get up, I'm gonna feel obligated to pay that person back.
Right.
But like
not even that, but it's just the principle of it. I feel like a lot of this shit comes down to the principle. Like
that's a fact. But
I mean, I was gonna bring it back to the point of what he said. He was like he's not feeling comfortable talking about your emotions, because I feel like that, at least in my experience and what I've seen, like I feel like for men it's like very like they try to steer you away from being emotional.
Especially
that's very
black
scarring.
And you know what though? And I feel like that is the problem in the black community. I feel like y'all teach men to oppress their emotions. Then y'all got fucking King Von on the radio talking about killing this, killing that, blood. All the kids, 6-year-old kids listening to that shit. Bro, that shit's in their head, subconscious mind. But don't let me talk about it. Don't let me talk about it. Don't let me talk about it.
But I also think like, while we can say that, at the same time, it's a reflection of his environment. And I think
a lot of
more
people
so
can't help what they're born into.
I feel like more so the focal point of what that should be is how can we, as a community, try to not have that be the reflection of so many young men's lives, and also not putting that on our men.
Right.
Because it's like, I'm dealing with the situation now with my little cousin, who he is more like soft, and he doesn't like sports, and he doesn't like
and that's fine,
and he likes doing things, and he wrote like we would always kiss, and he's just an affectionate type of person, and it's like I feel like the world around him is stealing that light
it's
from
not accepting
him.
enough. That's like for me, like I don't feel like I'm accepted by the world. That's why I'm usually by myself. I don't feel like, I belong in this crowd. I belong by myself with family or like with.
But sometimes I feel like by yourself is just, that's where a lot of the that's where you could do your most like growth. Like for me personally, I'm an ambivert. That means I'm an extrovert and an introvert. So sometimes it's cool, we could go out, we could party, it's gonna be cool, all fun and dandy or whatever. But then it's like sometimes I want more intimate settings. Like sometimes I want to sit down, spark a J with my friends, and just talk.
And just
like,
be one-on-one.
Just be there.
Just be there. Like, that's all. That's all, bro. And I feel like a lot of people, I feel like me specifically, I feel like I protect myself to the point where it's like, I don't want to deal with anybody in this community. It's like I see the way that they are, but then it's like sometimes I don't want to deal with them because of the way that they are. And I try to be accepting, but sometimes it's just like, I can't put my energy around you, bro. I can't. Like, I gotta protect myself first. And not only that too, because like, for example, like when it came to like this hair industry or whatever, bro, Like, it was this one instance or whatever, right, where this girl, she gave me a black wig or whatever, and I told her, I was gonna make it rainbow, but then I didn't know she was gonna give me black hair or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, before, bro, I used to sit up there and I used to argue all day on Facebook. Argue with people, bro. And I'm just like, it just got me to the point though where it's like, these people are not worth my energy. Like,
they're not gonna accept you. They're
not gonna accept me anyway. So what am I sitting here trying to prove myself for? Like, it takes that point of self-love.
On the topic of social media, like, how do you feel like that affects your consciousness? Because I kind of be thinking about it, like, I just deleted all my social media.
Stay away from that shit.
Yeah, like, I
feel like social media could be dangerous, but it could also be
right, because it's the way that now we're connecting.
Yes, I agree.
I feel like you just need balance.
Like, I think it's hard though, because in the same way social media, this is the way I always think about it. Like, I'm always on the brink of deleting all my social media because I just want to focus on the person I am on Earth. Like, who is this physical focus?
Right.
And social media really doesn't help with that. In social media, you're basically, like, you have yourself where you're obviously on Earth. Like, that's the real you. And social media is literally a separate version of you. In the like, that's what you don't get. Social media is basically...
People can be whoever behind the keyboard.
And the person that, for example, if somebody never met Mike in real life, they see Mike Ellie, whatever, on Instagram. To that person, that's real. Like, I am that person. That's not me. Like, you're just looking at pixels, and that to you is me, but that's not me. And in a way, I want to focus on who I am on Earth. Like, who is this physical form? I think people, like, checking up. If you want to check up on me, you can text me, you can do all that. You don't need to, like, see.
Social media is definitely good for stroking the ego.
Right. But I remember we were talking about this. A mutual friend that we know, I, like, didn't shave my legs for, like, a year and a half because I just didn't feel like it, and I had a bald head, growing my hair back, and I remember this girl who followed me, who we're like cool with. She was like, "Oh my gosh, you shaved your legs?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like, I'm able to not live up to the presence that I have on social media. Like, it wasn't for me. It's just because I want to grow my hair. Like, it wasn't because I was trying to make a statement, but like I just want to grow my hair." And she was just like, "Wow, like, I just thought you were like." And I thought you were
feminist queen.
Yeah, but it's like I am, but like
just because you.
I feel like people have an expectation of what do you call it? Perfectionism on social media. Like, I feel like real life is like seeing people without makeup and stuff like that. Like, people will call you a catfish or like you're not gonna look good every day. I'm sorry, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a celebrity. You're not gonna look good every day.
They only see like what you show
on social media, right?
But that's like the feeding into
exactly.
The feeding into stuff on social media. I'm not gonna lie, like in some moments it's like, ooh, these people talk so slick. Like, I want to talk slick back, but like after doing it.
You feel like shit
because it's not even but it's just like, dang, like I just made you feel so important. Like I made you feel like you got. I made myself feel like shit.
I allowed you to take me from here to here.
And I think that's the downfall to having consciousness. I was never aware of energy.
They always say, "Oh, you're spiritual. I thought you were spiritual or whatever. Why are you trying to?"
No, I'm
all of that. I'm spiritual and I'm human at the same time. Like, we all at. Like, what's up?
Because I'm still gonna cuss you doing that when we were younger was like that was our everything. We would beef on Facebook like nothing.
Hell yeah!
But then
especially during the Trayvon Martin movement.
We used to go, like, we all used to be whatever. But now, I just, like, because I've recently done that, and I was just like, ooh, this doesn't feel right in my soul. Even though in person, like, I'm about that. Like, what's up? But I hated doing that on social media because I was just like,
What am I doing?
Who am I doing this?
Like, you spend all that energy typing into a phone, bro.
I mean, there's thousands of people
right,
that don't know watching your business.
Yeah, exactly.
Why do you want to do your business?
Right.
That's the thing that I just can't stand. That's the one thing
that attention
that I can't.
Clout.
It's just like,
literally clout.
You're doing this for all of these
Clout is a hell of a drug.
But then behind the scenes,
you're weak.
You're not saying anything.
You're fucking weak. Like,
that's the fuck, right?
But like, you get what I'm saying? Because it's like, you can do whatever you want on social media,
right?
But see me in person,
right?
Like, that's just my whole.
But I feel like social media makes people tough though. Like, half the time there's no need for that energy. Like, even.
But I feel like a lot of people, they just aren't. I feel like they aren't woke, right?
They're not,
and I feel like they project,
right?
So if they're not happy with something, you're getting that shit. It don't matter. Everybody always looking for the next topic to turn their mind off from what they got going on at home.
I mean, yeah, that's all that is.
Just wake up, log in, and talk shit.
And I also do want to say, though, I feel like having social media and being able to observe it as a plane in which everybody's an actor, it kind of like made me really understand, like, when we go out and we interact with people in society, we're all actors.
All the time.
That's a fact.
All the time. Like, we act every day. We put on this act. Oh yeah, I'm happy to be in school. Ha ha. Oh, let me laugh. Let me.
So I have another question.
Like, you don't want people to.
I have another question.
Exactly.
About
it's a privilege to get to know you.
Even because I remember Mike was saying, like, when people come up to you and be like, "Oh my God, I miss you." Why aren't we comfortable and be like, "Okay"? Like, why do we always have to be like, I miss you so much too?
Because I don't be listening.
But why don't we feel comfortable enough just to, not even just to say that, but just to be like, oh, I'm okay with receiving that. But I don't have to give that back if it's not going to be genuine.
Yeah. Facts. Facts.
I feel like people know, but they just don't have boundaries. Because there's some people, like, you know, like, why are you coming up to me right now? And they feel that you can feel the energy, and they'll still try to, like, play you because you're in public. And it's just like, okay, like, you just gotta brush it off.
I just feel like I can't communicate with somebody who can't be direct. Be direct and communicate. I cannot read your fucking mind. Talk to me. And maybe that's just the Aries moon in me that's just so direct. That's just like, you know. But I feel like I need that. I feel like if you're not the type of person that, like, if you're the type of, like you don't communicate, but then you always have something behind your back that you're just not saying until one day, oh, Dana stepped on my shoe. Oh, you fucking bitch. That's why you didn't. Whoa.
Because some people's communication palette isn't mature. And
they always think it's an argument.
But that's why I've had to come to the realization too, is just like, not everyone is in this place where they could properly communicate.
Not everybody has the same capacity.
You're not able to have
my energy.
To have that around me.
Yes.
If that's how you're going to communicate.
And everyone's also moving through time differently too.
Right,
so it's like, just because the time's perfect for me to say something right now doesn't mean that the time was perfect for them to have that conversation with me. Or be receptive of what I was saying at that moment.
Right.
And I think that's something that we kind of overlook. Like everybody.
That's true. Because for me, I feel like I have to. I'm the type of person where if I'm mad, right, you have to give me a second.
Yeah, I don't like.
Don't talk to me because I will explode on your ass, like, and I will rain hell.
That's so funny. I'm the complete opposite.
Like, I will rain hell.
Like, I think that's the fire. I think that's the fire sign in me.
What's your moon?
What was it? I think it's Aries.
Aries moon?
I know it's moon. Leo.
Yeah, it's Aries.
It's Aries moon, and then I have Taurus
Aries moon.
Taurus rising.
Yeah, but I think that's just like, I just think that's the fire sign in me that I'm just like, oh no, you're not gonna go away from, in the middle of an argument, you're not gonna tell me to stop. But I definitely had to get to that point where I'm like, no, like, you really do say things out of emotion that later you're like, fuck. Like, I
do that.
I did not need to load that gun. And,
I think that's the big indicator for me of growth. Like, as I get older, I realize that I argue less. Like, when you realize that you're mature, like, I don't argue with you anymore because, like, we don't have to argue. We can have a discussion and we can, like, discuss what we have both going on.
But how about the people that communicate and they're not even, like, it's the tone. Like, okay, I see what you're trying to say, bro, but why you gotta say it with so much aggression?
I'm big on that.
You make me feel like you're coming for me.
Because regardless of what you say, I'm just hearing the tone. So then I'm going to match it, and then we're gonna get into
twofold.
And we knew Mike in middle school, so definitely. But that's just the thing. Like, I feel like people don't realize, like, especially, like, I go to school in New York, and not everybody. Let me not. But for a majority of them just have this aggression that, like, New Yorkers have, quote unquote. That's what they say. And I'm just like, that's fine. But you have to realize that when you're in my space, I don't communicate that way. I don't do the da 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 da. Yeah. And then I'm gonna just be like, okay. Yeah. No,
people just expect you to take that shit. Like, bro, like, here's an example. Me and my sister or whatever, you know, Taylor, which is my niece or whatever, you know, she needed to be dealt with. She needed to be disciplined. But me, I'm the type of person, I'm not gonna hit you. I'm not gonna hit you, but I'm gonna be stern with you. Like, you're gonna know. So long story short, whatever, Taylor throwing a tantrum or whatever. She get on the bed, she flipped the cover over the bed. I'm like, Taylor, come here. I'm yanking the cover off her bed, yanking the cover off her head, because at this point she got it like under her feet too. So I'm like, come here. She's like, my sister come in, oh, don't do that to her or whatever. I'm like, Taylor, let me teach you something about some respect. My sister come in or whatever. Now, next thing you know, fast forward to the point where me and my sister, we arguing. And she gets in my face, bro. She gets in my face. And I just don't remember what happened after that, but I just, boom. Like, I don't remember doing that. I just did it. And it was just like, fuck. Afterwards, I realized, like, why I did it was because I felt threatened. Like, you being this close and yelling in my face, I just acted. But then after that point, though, I just felt like, fuck, like, why did I do that? I didn't know why. I just had, like, a childish, like, exploding moment. It was just, like, I just did. I just acted.
I feel like it's not childish, though. I feel like that's a part of the experience is to know your triggers, because it's just human. Like, you're not going to feel comfortable everywhere you go, but it's the fact that you realize, like, okay, if I go here, I know I'm going to be uncomfortable, then you don't put yourself in unhealthy environments to explode, because you know you're going to explode.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Like, that's natural.
Learning when to step away.
Exactly.
Because, like, you might have just learned that about yourself, that you pop like that when that.
Yes. Exactly. Oh my God. 2020 taught me a lot about how Dana get down.
But it's like dealing.
Dana be with the shit.
It's like
she don't want to
going forward. You know what I mean? Like, you just have to learn how to get out of those things before that happens.
Yeah.
Nah, I feel like in that situation, though, you wasn't wrong.
I wasn't wrong. Yo, Shorty was in my face, like.
About to say, you're disciplining your niece.
My shit was like, my eye was like.
See, but I think it's also, the whole idea of right or wrong is really it's subjective, and I think it really kind of
shit just reminds
you. Why are you throwing it? Okay, that was wrong. That was wrong. Like, no, you did it.
It just is.
Like that's the thing too. Like, but if you're gonna do things like
for every action, there's a reaction.
You have to own the consequences, and that's the thing too. And I think that's also a big part of adulting is knowing, like, regardless if I do, like, whatever I do,
whatever you do, there will be.
Whatever I do, do it to my fullest. But I gotta be prepared to deal with what comes afterward, and that's just the truth.
That accountability.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a main factor.
When I'm mad, I'm flipping the table, I'm punching it, I'm doing everything.
That's right. Like, when I get mad, and I know my temper, and I'm pretty sure y'all say y'all got Aries moons too, so I'm pretty sure y'all understand that fire.
Yeah.
That's me. When your chest burns.
Yeah.
Nah, your whole body, bro.
And it's like,
body get hot.
Yeah.
Tense up.
Because it's like, I really had to learn that about myself, because I'm very much like a guns loaded type of person.
Me too. Nah.
Like, I'm ready to pop.
But that's why I can't match energy, because that's
why I gotta protect the energy of the people that I'm around.
Yeah.
Because
you don't even wanna.
Like, people, like, and I be peeping shit, like, nowadays, like, I'm just cool. I'm just at the point where, like, I peep the first shit is done.
I swear, that's like me. Like, for example.
It's done.
Look, people, for example.
I'm not giving people the opportunity no longer. Sorry. I got you. I'm saying I'm not giving people the opportunity no longer to, like, just run over me, bro. Like, that shit's slow. But
that's right. It's 2020.
So, like, say we at the club, right? And I'm with my peoples, feel me? And these, like, supposed to be my brothers, my friends, like, feel me? You fight, I fight. And we get into something or something. So, feel me? They know me. They know I'm going to be the first one to pop off, like, period. Mm-hmm. Like, if somebody talking crazy,
unfortunately,
I'm going to be the first one. Like, yo, who you talking to? Watch your mouth. And if them niggas on that, I'm on that. So, I'm expecting them to be on that. Because if you was on that, I would have been on that. So, if you were not on that, you can't be around me, period.
Right.
But, see, for me, though, I feel like any fight that I've ever had was off of some family shit. Like, in real life.
Yeah. But I don't
fight for myself.
But you know that you have a group of people who are going to bang with you. That's like, you know what I mean? So,
I don't fight for myself at all. Like, these bitches do a lot of this, and I just let them talk. I let them have it. Like I said in my song, I let y'all talk. I let y'all have it. But, bro, like, when it comes to family, friends, bro, you don't cross that boundary, bro. Don't. Because I will...
Oh, yes.
Put it out. Put it down.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's no, yeah. Like, it's just, like, that's, I feel like that's how deep you have to ride with the people. Even if you're not a fighter, you could at least get a little tug in, trying to get somebody off me, call somebody, like, you know, because everybody has their strengths and weaknesses.
Mm-hmm. See, but at the same time, though, you do have to take account for the fact that this conversation really just shifted, and I just want to note it, and I just want to think about why we got so comfortable all of a sudden resorting to violence. So, and that's
right? Okay.
And that's okay.
No, yeah.
That's my problem.
I was actually gonna say, like,
Dave, how much time you have?
I was gonna say, I don't really
That's
get
for punching
angry.
people and shit.
Like, I get mad, but I don't get angry.
No, she get mad. She be throwing shit.
No, me?
She be throwing shit.
Me?
I hate that throwing shit, bro. Don't throw
I be
shit.
throwing shit. I be
Where
fucking
my
shit up when I'm
That's
done.
wild.
I hate that throwing
See,
shit.
but then you have to wonder why is it like I was asked Terrell this before when you said like when you get angry you throw shit like you throw like
I don't throw shit, nigga. I throw hands.
Well, no, you said you mean how like you be angry by yourself like you just start like obviously just like express your anger,
like,
but you also got to think about why is that the method in which you release your
Because
anger.
I don't get mad like that. Like I'm not a mad
Same.
person.
But
I'm a cool person.
And I feel like someone brought this to my attention. Someone was like, bro, like the only reason she was like, yo, you seem like a real cool ass individual. She was like, the only reason why I see that you would like blow up or anybody is because you seem like the type of person to take shit until you can't take shit no more.
Literally.
Like I'll let you have that,
But then that brings up the question of why do we allow ourselves to take shit?
to feel that shit.
Because like my whole thing is like it's all good for people to like learn and do all this stuff, but if something's not serving you and you know it's gonna get to a point where you're gonna react like that, why even let that into your space? I'm not saying that I mastered that because I haven't, but like that's just been some type of introspective talk that I've been
2020 vision,
like you know what I mean?
vision.
But it's like, but even then it's like, but why do you get to that point? Like you know, but I think I know it's not about like taking shit, but like just like innately, because like even when you said you're not able to, you don't feel comfortable communicating your emotions, but you feel comfortable communicating your anger. Like why is that?
And that's my point. Like this channels all the way back to what Maya said in the beginning. The fact that you feel as though you need to release anger, and I don't mean to think this like targeted at Terrell, but like in general,
but just
just the thought.
you can release anger and like do these violent things.
It's easy.
And yet, at the same reason why when you were younger, like you were also not taught, okay, when you're angry, you need to take a deep breath. You need to sit down. You need to like reflect and collect yourself. So instead, you resorted into doing whatever.
Nah, but I feel like I feel like I understand that fire nature though, because first of all, your moon comes from your parent, your mom, right? So I feel like my mom, she was, whoop ass.
Hell yeah.
You know,
so it starts with your parents, like how you're raised.
I mean, yeah, but then it's also like I don't know. I like to look at it in a more like
logical,
like, not even logical, but like
practical.
Keep going deep into it. I also feel like it's how we teach specifically black men how to communicate, and it's like you better not communicate when you're sad or when you're happy or when you're grateful.
Literally.
But you sure as hell better communicate.
But then where's the outlet for these black men to like?
But then we don't give them outlet.
So that's why they take out on each other.
That's where
therapy becomes taboo.
Yeah, that's where the judgment comes in. Because like if you think about it, like there's certain things that you label that like if you don't want to do sports as a kid and you want to draw, it's like ooh, like we have to toughen him up.
Right.
But it's like, but why not show the inclusivity of like you could do this and you could do that and that could be your thing and that's fine. But when it comes to men and they do things that may be something that's labeled as feminine, it's always like we have to toughen him up because he has to be a man.
That's a systematic way of thinking.
I feel like it's also like a society
because every creative that is known to walk this earth is a black man that's a creative. So I think that the way that we put out, black people say be tough, we don't, because the first people to come out and be actors was a gay man, like he was black, to come out as a gay man on TV or a gay man to just express himself and be open as that. The first rappers and singers and musicians were black men. We run every single creative outlet, so I don't think that everybody says our community, everybody doesn't say just be a man or whatever they systematically taught you to think like. So we got to kind of be mindful of that as well.
That's true. Because we run speaking from my experience.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I would just say for a black man, if you have like a black, child, if you find that he's good at something, keep pushing that. Like,
I feel like with any child too, though, but especially young black kids.
Like the sport, keep them involved in sports or like do something to where he's not.
All right, last question. I feel like this one's gonna. I figured though. Where do y'all think like poverty comes from, or the poverty mindset? I should say.
Mindset or poverty?
Let's go. Yeah, let's go back.
I mean, either or. Just take it.
All right. So look, for example, right? I was talking about this yesterday. Mommy and daddy, like our parents, they're like workers. They want they were like, you should go into da-da-da, because if you do 20 years, you will get, you can retire.
Benefits. Mm-hmm.
But the way that we think, we want to stay away from the labor, from the work. Mm-hmm. We don't want to work. We want to, do something.
Or not even, it's not that even that we don't want to work, but work in more of a practical way.
Yeah. I'm not saying don't work, like, not a lot of...
No, I get what you mean, but like creative.
Yeah, creative. Like, we want to create something so that can make money for us, or do something, that we don't have to work 12 hours a day to get what we want. We can do.
I feel like when people put on you the whole work for 20 years, I feel like that's another form of projection where they are projecting their beliefs. Oh, I think you can do this because such and such did that,
Literally,
like their beliefs of themselves be that much of that.
I feel like people also like try to bring other people down, because there's a lot of people who regret like the things that they didn't do in life. Mm-hmm. So like I feel like in society, like I feel like the elders or like the older people sometimes, instead of showing support and like showing us the way or like trying to help out in any shape or form, it's just a bunch of like bashing and like jealousy and like stuff like that. So I feel like it's definitely like stuff like that depends.
But I also feel like at the same time, it's a privilege to be at the point where you can consider working in a way that isn't simply just for money. Like, that's a privilege.
Right.
You consider people who are at like the rock bottom. Of course, they're going to teach their kids that you need to get a job that's going to help you hustle, simply because of the fact that they want the best for their kids. Not they're just saying, don't follow your dreams. You need money. But if they, you need.
But it's also, like I said, a projection of what they feel that they can do.
Yeah, and that's not to justify why you can limit what your kids do. But I just want to acknowledge that it is a privilege, nevertheless, to even like. Think about, I have parents who come from Haiti. Like, the fact that I come to America and live here and have even the idea of envisioning what I want to become, like what kind of money I want to make, like not even what kind of money I want to make, what things I want to aspire to be that don't even involve money. That in and of itself is a privilege compared to as if I was in Haiti and I'd have to be like, okay, I need a job simply to keep food in my stomach. Like, that's a different privilege.
Yeah.
I like having people with different cultures on here to talk about their, like, because I know Priska, you're Guyana,
my parents are from there.
Third world country.
It's in South America, but it's like by the Caribbean Ocean as well. Yeah.
I was gonna say, like,
guys, I'm sorry, I just gotta say, this shit was the most less stress-free podcast I ever had. This shit was a good one.
All right, 2 minute mark.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say briefly that in relation to the poverty line and like why I think we have things like that we can characterize as a poverty mindset. I feel like it's not only a poverty mindset. I think it's also a survival mindset too. Because it's like these are conditions
level one.
That. I don't even think like it would be level one in itself, because I think that there are people.
Well, level one is the culture escape, though. That's the living in. That's autopilot.
But I do think people that are in a poverty mindset, I don't think that they're all just like level one. I think some people are conscious.
I feel like they weren't exposed,
and they're comfortable not having that drive to try and play with society.
People want different things.
Game. Like capitalism really is a destructive force, and it really does take a soul. It literally takes your soul. Like if you think about it, like all these people, like why do I have to wait till I'm 60 to retire? Like you want me to dedicate my whole life to some money system? Like I don't know. Like that's
and
just
we decided that was okay. We just sat back and said that sounds right.
We're having money too, and I do think money is a dangerous game, and I think
we perpetuate the cycle. Though I feel like we all
definitely do.
Overall.
We definitely do. But I just think it's really dangerous, especially if one isn't conscious about their level and their relation to the means of production as well.
So guys, that was the show. Great conversation. I feel like we went in a circle. We circled back to right where we started off, and it just was just right. Thank you guys for coming out. Like, I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. If you guys want to donate, the Cash App will be in below. These events are non-profit. Donations are truly welcome. If you guys like this, please comment. Say